Morning everyone, and welcome to today's trading analysis on the 15th of March 2022. The last couple of weeks have been pretty wild. It seems that with all the Russian invasion, the markets can't seem to make up its mind what it wants to do. It's always a little bit negative when it's consolidating at the bottom of a trend because it can signal continuation. So let's quickly look at the markets. And let's jump straight into the weekly chart on Bitcoin. So if we look at this, you can see that we now have two hammer candles in succession. You can see the first one 3 weeks ago. Let me just zoom in here. This was really a negative looking candle with a massive long wick to the top, rejected at the 21 moving average. And then we had a similar type of situation the next week, the follow-on week, with another rejection candle to the 21 moving average. Bitcoin is now trading on this trend line. It's forming some divergences, so it's looking like it is wanting to form a higher low. But then at the same time, it keeps getting rejected from the 21 moving average and forming a price action that is really looking negative. On daily scale, it does appear that there could be a rising, not a rising wedge, a ascending triangle. This could potentially be positive because we could have something like that and then a breakout to the top. There's something I'm keeping my eye on. If we keep rising into this ascending triangle, that could be quite bullish. The funding rate is quite negative. But still, you can see there are more longs than shorts slightly at the moment. You can see that every time that as the shorts build up, you get this short squeeze, shorts build up, a short squeeze, and there was a little bit of a build up before that short squeeze. So if we are going to want some sort of a short squeeze or a big move to the upside, we are going to need more people to go short. People are overly long at the moment. XRP on a weekly scale is still in the same formation. It's making higher lows on the weekly scale with lower lows on the RSI. This has been going on for a year and a half. So expecting possibly when the XRP news come out of the SEC settlement or something at some point later this year. This could be something here April, May, June. And at that point we could potentially have this big coil up of over a year breakout to the upside or then obviously to the downside. On the daily scale, got the same situation. XRP coiling up on a smaller scale. It's still trading below the 200-day moving average. A breakdown from here will probably retest us 50, 60, but we really want to keep above this trend line if we can. The big thing for me really is the stock market. And this chart is really the history of the stock market since 1972. And if I had to run past this, you can see the crash of 1982, the crash of the late 80s. This is the stock market bubble of 2000, and then this is the housing crash. It seems like the price always wants to stay sort of in this trend, above the trend line, but it was really the recession. Crashing the housing crash that pushed us below this trend line for almost 10 years now. And then this last little dip here was COVID. So if you had to go into more detail, you can see for the first time in the last 10-15 years that we've been pushing with all this money printing. They were able to push us above this trend line again. Now what's also interesting, if you look at the last few years, you can see that from an RSI perspective, this is the housing crash. I don't actually know what happened here. Was it 2011? You can see here 2016, 2018, COVID. So there's only been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is now the 6th time in 12 years that we are getting into this area of oversold conditions. And this is actually quite positive if you think about it, because if you look at the long term, we are still above the trend line. We are where we want to be economy-wise. But then at the same time, the market is corrected to such a fashion that it's actually looking like it's oversold. That we are not far away from touching that trend line, and we're also then not far away from pushing into this. So I think we are heading close to a bottom. You know, whether we wick down here or just touch it or go up from here. But I do think that the stock market has had a healthy correction, and depending on what Fed Powell is saying tomorrow, which should really just be 25 basis points, I think stock market should start easing out and then maybe turn around at some point. The US dollar, the Dixie, you can now see there is a bit of a bearish divergence forming. So it could potentially be that there's a bit of a pullback on the US dollar, you know, for the next month or so. And that could potentially bring some positive news in for cryptocurrencies. On the bot trading front, my bot was activated here and the price moved up quite rapidly. So I am now in. It hasn't activated the sell signal yet. It was very close. And we are now in this sort of range. I'm waiting now for my bot to see if it's going to sell. I'm still 50% on the 30-minute chart, buying at 20, and it was actually supposed to sell at around 60, but it wasn't activated fully yet. And then I've got the 4-hour chart buying at 30 if there's a prolonged sell-off. So all in all, I think the market is starting to consolidate towards the bottom. This could mean two things. Obviously further downside, or hopefully that the market has stopped selling off so rapidly and, you know, the selling is dissipating. At the moment in my current position, I used this weekend, there was a little bit of an XRP pump. I was lucky to get a further 10% out of my position. So I'm now in a full 50-50 position, 50% in cash and 50% in XRP. And I am actually really just sitting and waiting. For me to be 50-50 means I'm relatively negative in the market. I'll never go less than 50, or very rarely 50%, because I have seen XRP double in 2 days. And I want to be in the market when that happens. Of course, if the price starts running up and it breaks the 21 moving average and things are starting to look bullish, I will up it systematically back to 80%, depending on how I feel at the time. But for now, I'm in a 50-50 position. So I'm actually pretty comfortable with the price moving up or down. And I will then sort of take my decisions accordingly. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. And let's see you on the next one.